So we have some really big breaking news to share in today's video, which is really about the fact that inside of Congress, but specifically the House, has now recently approved of a brand new $78 billion stimulus package that's going out right now. Now, at this current time is that there are many programs related to taxes inside of this particular bill. It is estimated to apply to about 16 million people all around our country. It is going to apply across the entire nation to all 50 states. And the big idea is that it's going to send out money to very select individuals. So in today's video, what I really want to talk about is pretty much just what's inside of this bill, who this is going to apply to, and then everything that's important to know going forward from here about what's expected to happen. So with that being said, let's just get started. But as always, if you guys enjoy videos like this, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, and let's get this video started. So the story to what's happening right now is that inside of Congress, but specifically the House, as just mentioned, is that they recently approved of a $78 billion stimulus bill that has many different tax programs inside, and it's currently on the road to the Senate, which is where it's sitting at right now at the time of the release of this particular video. Now, within the Senate, it is expected to approve, so that is the really great news about it, because after all, at the end of the day, inside of the House, it was approved at a vote of about 357 to 70, and the House is currently led by Republicans. So what's really nice about this is that there's support from both parties, from both the Democrats and the Republicans, that are in agreement of doing this. And if we are able to have a party, or specifically a community of people that's led by the Republicans, vote in support of this, then it means that it's very likely it's going to approve inside of the Senate as well, since the Senate, the Senate is dominantly led by Republicans, whereas the House basically has enough votes to potentially be able to go through. Of course, there are actually still several issues that we have to talk about that might potentially come up, so this is definitely important to hear out. But the idea really behind it is that it's expected to approve. That is the really great news. But however, we do have to know about some of these issues that might pop up. And the issues that might potentially pop up really is that because inside of this particular stimulus package bill, there are a lot of different programs, and while it is true that many of them do support some of the tax policies, there are also certain tax policies that maybe some of the politicians do not particularly support. In other words, they're happy about most of the bill, but there are still areas where they might not particularly be happy about as well. That's why there's just so many different programs. So because of that, as a result, what this really means is that it's not going to be a perfect bill, but when is the last time have we ever had a perfect bill? At the end of the day, there's going to be policies that people do agree with, policies that people don't agree with, and these are just some of the issues that could potentially pop up as they're trying to vote on this bill inside of the Senate, where it sits right now at this time. So for example, one example of this particular issue that might potentially pop, or one particular policy that they're not fully in agreement of, is the fact that it lacks the policy that relates to expanding the $10,000 cap. How this particularly works is that essentially is that there is a policy where they want to potentially, or it doesn't, so right now inside of this bill, there is a lack of expanding the $10,000 cap on federal deductions for state and local taxes. In other words, what this really is that it's just a program meant to create a deduction for everybody, including singles, for their state and local taxes. The great news is that the Senate is Democratic led, so this is where most of the supporters are in favor of. However, at the end of the day, just like mentioned, is that it's important to note that this is just one policy that they may not fully be in agreement of, but it still looks very promising, and I think that's the most important thing to take away. And then there are also just a lot of policies meant to help support a lot of wealthy business owners. But now moving on to maybe talk about the actual exciting part, which is the money in our pockets area of the stimulus package. So right now at this current time, the good news is that there are about 16 million people that will potentially receive some kind of amount of aid through this particular program, but it's mostly almost all completely through something known as, most people know, the child tax credit. Now, if you are someone that's a single individual, sadly like me, especially since Valentine's Day is right around the corner when you're watching this, I'll talk a little bit about what happens with single individuals, and you can maybe jump to the timestamp in the beginning. There's going to be timestamps on the bottom so you can kind of skip around and save time. But the idea really is that the biggest program that I think most people will care about in this package is going to be the child tax credit. And how this particular works is, maybe to do a little bit of a background, is that in 2021, President Biden expanded by signing his third stimulus package, a child tax program that raised the limit. But by the very end of the year, so the end of 2021, that program actually ended up expiring. So the goal right now is to try to expand the child tax credit as much as possible going forward into the future. So I believe the specific numbers, which is shown right here, really highlights a lot of the specific data or the specific dollar amounts that they're going to try to expand it to. Which is wild because it's been like 2 years since the last stimulus package approved. But essentially how this works is that under the new bill, the refund would become about $1,800 because again, child tax credit is, a tax policy at the end of the day, hence child tax credit. It's going to expand the refund to about $1,800 in 2023. So for the recent tax year in 2023, $1,900 for 2024, and $2,000 for 2025. So on top of that, it's not even just that it's going to expand the actual limit, but it's going to expand the number of people that can physically actually get onto the program. Because keep in mind, all of the dollar amounts I've just recently stated, they're not necessarily how much money you will definitely receive, but it means that how much money you can receive up to. So the limit at the absolute best situation is that you're going to be able to receive $2,000 if you are someone that has a family. However, because of what's going on right now, although the limit is $2,000, not every single person qualifies for the entire $2,000 amount of stimulus programs or amount of aid given. So under this new bill, what it's going to do is it's going to expand these qualifications even more. So now even more people can get the entire $2,000, and quite significantly more people are going to be able to receive the entire $2,000. Hence why I mentioned as earlier is that this applies to about 16 million individuals, because there is a lot of people that are going to gain support from this particular new recent package that's going to approve right now inside of the Senate. Now, when it comes to a lot of people that are single, such as you and I, sadly at this current time is that there is no stimulus check program for single individuals, sadly. And I totally feel the pain there because I'm also a single individual. If you happen to be a single individual, we totally are on the same page right there. So I have feels for it. But the idea really though is that there might still potentially be programs that come up for single individuals on a very state and local level. And then also interestingly on a very specialized level. So what do I mean by this is that there are policies that might apply to people that happen to be like small business owners. So if you are someone that's a small business owner like me, then maybe potentially this can help you even if you happen to be single. I haven't done as much research admittedly on the business owner side of the programs that are available there. So maybe that's something I'll have to do in the future video. Maybe subscribe if that would be something of interest, and hit the bell if you guys haven't done so already. But that's really the story behind what's happening right now with single individuals. So the good news is that lots of programs for families and people with kids. Sadly, not so many programs for single individuals, but there are potentially other kind of niche programs that you may be able to get onto regardless of your relationship status right now at this current time. But that's really just what I really wanted to cover in today's video, but we have to see what happens in the Senate, of course. So with that being said, that's what I really wanted to cover in today's video. So if you guys enjoyed that video, thank you guys so much for watching to the end. Leave a comment, subscribe, comment any personal thoughts about honestly anything, subscribe, hit the bell, smash the like button, and hope to see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much again.